Welcome back to Fisher Stadium and the Coca-Cola Postgame Show. I'm here with Phil Ing and Maurice Bennett. And fellas, 34-7 says the scoreboard. It's an opening game. They were at home against a quality opponent. Phil, let's go to you first. What are some of the positives you can take from a game like this?
Well, again, I think we talked about a little bit at halftime that, inexperienced O-line, I think they did a decent job. You got a lot of good receptions out of Matt Mrazek and also some other guys. So I think you take that away. Deshaun Brown had a decent game. You got Kyle Mayfield in there as well. Caught the ball well, ran the ball decently. So those are the few positives that you have coming out of here.
I think statistically you look at the game and William and Mary kind of plotted away with this thing, Maurice. And I know as a defensive guy there were a couple of big plays that really burned us.
There were a couple of big plays there that burned us, but I would look at this game as an extension of camp. You want to talk about the positive? This is an extension of camp. This is not a conference game. Obviously we got a tough game next week. You got a lot of guys on film today. Extension of camp. We'll work through it. I know this is Lafayette Sports Network, but it was a lot closer than 34-7.
Well, we harken back to the end of the third quarter, and but for a blocked field goal, we're ready to make this a 10-point game with a full quarter left to play. So, fellas, thanks a lot for your help tonight, and we'll see you down the road. I'm sure we go down to Delaware next week, but we'll see you back here when we're at Fisher Field. I think our coach is ready for us. In just a few minutes, Frank Tavani will be heading on over. So, fellas, thanks very much, and we'll call our coach over. We're trying to get his attention. Again, it was a quality opponent. William and Mary came in as a heralded team. And, Coach, I talked to Phil Ing a little bit about this. I talked to Maurice Bennett a little bit about this. It's an opening game. I'm not sure the scoreboard at 34-7 really reflects the effort and certainly some of the good things that came out of this game for you guys tonight.
Well, hey, we just got beat by a good football team that outplayed us tonight. We fought. We pulled it back together there. I thought going in the locker room, gained a little momentum. We needed to get a stop. We did hold them to 3, but needed to get a stop, get the ball, do something, get the momentum back. An awful lot of mistakes out there. We started to get some people injured. Some guys got into play and haven't had even less experience, and certainly got a little baptism by fire. But we can play a lot better than that. There's an awful lot of things we got to work on, obviously, to get better, but gonna have to play better than that.
How much of the win came out of the sails when the blocked field goal? I mean, you're poised to make it a 24-14 game with a full quarter left, and it just seemed like that was.
Well, that was a discussion. We were 3 scores down. We're gonna have to score 3 times. I thought, let's get the field goal, and then we're 2 scores down. We got a whole quarter, and then we had a breakdown inside, and I think off the edge, and again got outplayed by a good football team.
Got to believe that one of the big concerns, we talked about it at halftime, the offensive line and how they would perform against a team like this. You were happy with them at halftime. I got to believe you're pretty happy with them at the end of the night.
Well, you got to give those young kids an awful lot of credit. That's a difficult situation to throw them into. But, they hung in there and played pretty well. Obviously, we'll look at the film and want much better. We know that, but you got to give it to those kids. They battled in there.
Maurice Bennett just called it an extension of camp. Well, gone are the days when the extension of camp used to be a Division III school or somebody like that.
Right.
I mean, you're right in the belly of the beast here. You've got William and Mary, and then you lighten it up a little bit with Delaware, right? Then it's just Harvard and Princeton. Coach, it's going to be a tough sled, and you got to pick them back
going
up.
in. We were certainly aware of that going in, and we just got to play better than that, and we got a lot of things we got to work on.
Good deal, Coach. Get to the film, get to the kids. We'll see you next week down at Delaware.
All right, thank you.
Good deal. Gary, Michael, back to you guys. Oh, I'm sorry. No, almost forgot. I'm sorry, Bobby. Bobby DiPietro, our Coca-Cola player of the game. And Bobby, how fitting was it for you? Now, I was down at that end of the field, and I know that you lost a very, very close personal friend, a teammate, a tight end mate. I saw you catch that touchdown pass, and I saw you look upward. Share your thoughts with us.
Yeah, everything we do, man, is for him. Got a picture of him on my locker, sat in his locker for a little bit before the game. But I know he's right there with me every step of the way, and I know he's helping me out, so nothing better to honor him.
It's going to be tough to capture or to top the moment that Bobby and I captured when I saw you run over to his parents on the sideline after that touchdown catch. Do you mind sharing us what you said to them?
Yeah, I just told him, that was for Brian. He fully anticipated getting 10 touchdowns and 1,000 yards this season, and I've been in close contact with his family, and they want me to step up and take over what he wanted to do, and I looked for them right away and told him that was for him.
This is a very, very tough early season schedule for you guys, and I know you guys will rise above it. You got a lot of extra emotion going for you this year. There were a lot of positives out there, and not the least of which was your touchdown catch. Good luck the rest of the way, and congratulations on a good game tonight.
Thank you very much.
You got it, Bobby. Gary, Michael, now back to you guys.
All right, this is the post-game show presented by the Maroon Club. Every gift matters every year. Join the Maroon Club today. And the player of the game was presented by Coca-Cola. Experience the Coke side of life. Mike Joseph will take us through the highlights of tonight's football game.
Well, as everybody mentioned, it was a little closer than that big 34-7 score. Lafayette gets off to a good start, kind of spreading the ball around here. You see right there Palumbo and then Mrazek. And coming out of that first half, 11 for 15. This was a big play. Lafayette on a first down, tried to get the ball into the end zone to Mrazek. Good coverage over the top, maybe a decision that he would want back right there, Sirfas. But you see right back, a good 6-play drive, gets the ball into the end zone for Sabor, and then a nice throw right here on a 3rd down and 15. Lafayette all night long. You saw T.J. Jones struggle a little bit, some misplays in the secondary, maybe some blown coverages. Jerry Poe comes in here, gets a nice pressure on Kaluli, and that one's picked off by Dennis Benchko. And then the throw over the top here on a 3rd down to keep this drive alive. Remember, Lafayette at this point right now just down 7-0, and then they come down here 14-0, and then the touchdown by DePietro, which he talked about a little bit, and his tribute to Brian Keller. Just a wonderful, wonderful drive right there, and you see the hug right there with Mr. and Mrs. Keller and their daughter. Just an outstanding game tonight for Bobby DePietro in memory of Brian Keller. In the 3rd quarter, Lafayette again down just 14-7. This was a big play down the middle of the field to Hart. He's going to catch that football. He's going to run away from T.J. Jones. So some injuries in the secondary forced Roberts to play corner, left some voids in the middle with some guys that had a lot of playing experience. And then right here, Jake Bissell, the freshman out of Parkland, gets it blocked off the corner. Frank talked about some pressure up the middle, off the corner. That's Houston Carson blocking that. And then the big run back, his knee was down before the ball popped out. They're going to go on to score again. Sabor a couple plays later with a nice 36-yard run into the end zone. This made the score right here 31-7. So at that point, the Tribe was really in control of the game. A lot of good things to put on film. I talked about it a few times. Get this thing on film, just like Mo Bennett talked about. Make sure you can learn from these. Lafayette out of the fire and back into the fire next week against Delaware, Gary.
And the same for the Tribe as they'll take on Virginia at 3:30 next Saturday afternoon. Lafayette next Saturday night as they'll travel to Delaware for a 6 o'clock kickoff. We'll be there for that one on the Lafayette Sports Network. Well, for John Leone, for Mo Bennett, for Phil Ing, and of course John Bowman, our stat man extraordinaire, and my best analyst, best of friends, Mike Joseph. We thank you so much for spending time with us. Spend the season with all of us on the Lafayette Sports Network. For all of us, I'm Gary Laubach. Good night, everybody.